Hey folks, I'm Mike. Do you hate ads? I hate ads. You know what I like? Patreon.com/Inkdependence. It keeps this blog ad-free. Hello and welcome to Inkdependence.com. Today our ink comes in this box. This is going to be a bit of a quick hit because you can't really get this ink very easily. It was one that was made for the Chicago Pen Show this year. That's 2017. And I went ahead and got a bottle of it without actually having seen it. They were selling it right next to the table I was working at with Franklin Christoph. And I couldn't resist picking up a bottle of Chicago Blue. It wasn't particularly expensive, although I don't remember exactly what it was. Maybe $14, something like that. Limited edition ink, and also a KWZ, and I have not tried very many KWZs. Maybe only like two? Maybe only not very many. This one comes in this nice bottle. It is a 60 ml, so 2 ounce bottle. Not full to the brim like you'll get from Noodlers or anything like that, but filled to the bottom of here, I suppose. And there's a quick hit of that color. It's a very, very deep blue. In fact, super dark blue. Here it is on Rhodia. This is the number 16 pad. This is an 80 grams per square meter paper. And there you can see lots of shading. And actually, as I tilt the paper, you can see a little bit of sheen there as well. Not a whole lot, but some. And you get a little bit of that every once in a while when you're writing with it, but not a whole lot. So as for flow and stuff, this one actually is a bit dry. I think it's dry because it's a little bit oversaturated, but once it gets going, it seems to be just fine. But I do get hard starts like almost every time. And I have this in 2 pens. Firstly, this one, which you've seen before, this is a KWZ Custom ink. This is the version 1 of this pen. It had a broad nib in it when I started using this ink, but it kept bleeding through things and feathering and spreading like mad, so I put in the medium nib I have for this, and it's more manageable, although I do get more, well, I get about the same number of hard starts. I was still getting them with the broad. Anyway, so that's this pen. And then this one, which you haven't really seen before, this is a Diplomat Excellence A in this awesome blue, which I believe is called Skyline Blue. It's a really pretty color, and you can see it flashing in the light there as it reflects. Anyway, it kind of matches this, so I was like, let's see if put a blue ink in this pen. Diplomat medium nibs are usually very good. They're usually kind of wet, and this one is definitely wetter than the one that I have on that KWZ Customs ink. However, I do still get hard starts with this one a little bit. Not too many, but definitely a non-zero number, and probably every second or third time I try to use it, I get a hard start. But like with the ink, it's once it gets going, it's much better. So I would suggest if you're going to use this KWZ Chicago Blue, use it in something with a really wet flow. I haven't tried to clean these pens out yet, so I don't actually know if it's going to do any staining or anything like that, but definitely go for something with a really wet nib on it. I think that's the way to go. Also, as I said before, it was bleeding and feathering. I get a little bit of bleed and feather on my 20-pound Staples paper, which I'll show you here in a minute, featuring some shading and some sheen on Rhodia anyway. You don't see a lot of either of those things on regular old paper. So let's go ahead and look at it on the regular paper right quick. That is this right here. As you can see, let me get a little bit closer. Yeah, I believe you can probably see the feathering and stuff in there. It's not too bad. There's definitely some spread on here, which you can't really see unless you're actually writing with it. But definitely some spread. On the back, definitely some dots that came through. It's not the worst in terms of bleed through, but it definitely does bleed through. So if you're using this 20-pound paper, using the back might be a little bit messy looking. But it's not terrible. It could be better, but it's not terrible. So there we go. All right. As I say in the commentary bit here, it is a very nice deep blue. But as I said before, I think it might just be a little oversaturated. And so you might be able to fix that if you want to add a little bit of water to it or something like that, just a touch to dilute it just a skosh. I don't tend to dilute my inks. I like to review them as they are. But if you want to try that out, I'd say give it a shot. Probably won't hurt anything. Almost never does. So give that a shot, perhaps. But it really just needs a gusher of a nib, I think, is the trick with this guy. All right, let's look at some of these other blues that I have around right now. And I don't really have any other blues that are super close at the moment, at least not inked up. The closest thing I can think of is like Private Reserve American Blue is it was not as dark as this, but it's pretty close in tone. There are several sorts of deep blues and that sort of thing out there, but I don't have any of those inked up at the moment. I will try to find some in color swatches and that sort of thing to add to the blog, inkdependence.com, for when I post this online. You can go ahead and go over there and check it out. I should have them up at the same time. You see underneath that, Robert Oster's Fire and Ice, which has got a decidedly green cast and put up against this. Robert Oster Bondi Blue, which is a gorgeous watery blue, but not at all like KWZ's Chicago. Lambing Pacific Blue, which is kind of a turquoise, and Noodler's USS Texas, which is, I always think of it as kind of a blue, but it's actually like a super dark green, it turns out. I kind of forgot. I wouldn't have included that if I'd remembered it was a dark green and not a blue. But anyway, it looks pretty good, I think, KWZ. I dig the deepness of that color. It's got a lot of like interesting tones. Unfortunately, it's kind of lost in the experience of writing with it. You get a little bit here and there, and you can see where I start writing letters. It's a little bit better. Here is one of the hard starts I had, and that was after, writing a line. And then I picked it up and put it back down, and yeah, bad news. So, this one is a little bit on the reticent side. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at it on a couple of other papers before I do our water test. Here we go. Thumbing through this guy. There we go. This is on. This is an ink journal. This is on Tomoe River paper, and you can see all kinds of good colors there. You definitely get the sheen up here. It's kind of a purpley sheen, I guess, a little bit, maybe a little bit red. It's hard to tell. It's just kind of shiny. Against the blue, it's hard to tell exactly what color it is. You definitely get a lot of sheen on this one, and a lot of that blue color. On the currently inked, which is now called Inky Fingers, which is a wheat straw paper. I use this stuff a lot of times in my printer, and that kind of stuff is my favorite paper to use at home because you can get it in reams and that sort of thing. But it looks really good on here, and there's, of course, no bleed through or anything back here. This paper is really, really good against fountain pen ink. And it looks nice. It's got a great color. The only thing about this ink is that it just doesn't have a great writing experience because it's a little bit dry. It tends to feel a little bit draggy almost, even a little bit draggy on paper is my experience with it. Come on, let's go ahead and focus, huh? There we go. All right, good. All right, let's put some water on this guy. Oh, there goes a drop. Do some more. Let's put it up here and do a little bit of this action. There we go. All right. We'll let that sort of soak in a skosh. And then dry this up. Shunk. Man, look at all the blue going into the paper towel there. That's actually pretty cool. I know, I switched to another paper towel brand. It's crazy, but it happens. All right. Yeah, so, I mean, water resistant, kind of, but I think so much of it moves that you end up losing a lot of the words. It loses definition and all that sort of thing. It doesn't really wash away all that well. Maybe if I actually gave it another wash, it would be actually a little bit better. Let's give it a shot. Why not? Maybe if I just kind of go like this. Nope, that's worse. As I suspected, worse. But whatever, it's for science. So, yeah, not particularly water resistant. Definitely a lot of it moves. I mean, a lot of it will stay there, but it's not going to be legible, unfortunately. So, no real water resistance at all. Let's go ahead and take a look at the chromatography right quick. There we go. I think the chromatography for this one is actually very pretty. It's a really nice blue that he's got going on here in this ink. I believe there's one guy who makes these inks in Poland, if I'm not mistaken. Come on, camera. Let's do a little bit of focusing. There we go. Good. There's not really any like color differentiation. It's just a really nice blue. And that's kind of what you get in this ink overall. So this is an ink that I can't really recommend. It's just not one I really enjoy writing with, and I'm going to clean out these pens pretty much immediately. It's not bad. It's just kind of dry, and it doesn't have great flow, and I demand that in ink. So, if you want to play around with an ink, this is a cool one to play around with, but, and if you find it and you like getting limited editions, that's cool too. But it wouldn't be one that I would hunt super hard for if you haven't gotten it from the show already. All right, that's it. I'm Mike. This is Ink Dependence. You can find me all the normal places on Instagram as @InkDependence, on inkdependence.com, and you can click all these little things here on the end card. Over on the left-hand side, you see videos. Check those videos out. On the right-hand side, you've got subscription buttons, one for the channel, one for the Patreon. If you want to help support this channel on Patreon, that would be awesome, and I thank you very much. If you want to go ahead and like, subscribe, hit the bell button if you want to. Leave me a comment, whatever. I will see y'all later on. Peace out.